everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Esther and I am happy to have you back on my channel. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, I say thank you for tuning in. And for you that has been back on my channel, thank you for coming back. God bless you. In my last video, I shared with you how I went into depression, how my denial and my husband's denial led me into depression. And while I was depressed, I decided to take an action. And I said I was going to share with you. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the decision that I made due to being depressed and how I came out of that. But before I tell you that story, I would like you to tell you what depression is. Perhaps there are some people here watching me who are depressed and they are not aware of it. So today I'm going to tell you what depression is. I'm going to tell you the symptoms of depression, what you might be feeling or you'll be feeling if you're depressed, and my own advice on how you can come out of that situation. And then I will now tell you what that depression led me into. What is depression? I'm just going to read it out because I put a point down. I'll read my note out to you. Depression is a common illness that affects how you feel, what you think, and how you behave. So those are the things that depression would affect. It affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you behave. So you can see that how you feel affects how you think and then how you behave. It causes feelings of sadness and or a loss of interest in activities that you once enjoyed. So therefore, I would say that depression is a mental illness. Like I said in my last video, being depressed does not affect how you live. It doesn't stop you from living your life. It doesn't stop you from going to work. It doesn't stop you from being a mother or a father. It doesn't affect all that. But the only thing is it makes everything harder. Like I said, in my last video, that when I was depressed, I was still going to work. I was doing everything. So being depressed does not stop you from living your life, but it makes everything a little bit harder for you. And it makes you feel worthless. In my own research, I found that there are three, or there are more. There are different types of depression. But I'm just going to mention about 4. So I've got 4 types here. There's one type that is called seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder, which means sad. And this occurs at a particular season or time of the year. Maybe it's a date whereby maybe a mother's death anniversary or a rejection anniversary or a divorce date or anything, a date whereby maybe something horrible happened. So that kind of depression, which is sad, seasonal affective disorder, comes upon that person and they start to feel low. Another type is called persistent depression. And they said this one lasts for like about 2 years. You just feel so worthless, so low, and it just goes on and on and on for about 2 years. Another type is the prenatal depression, and this affects pregnant women. Makes them feel low. They just cry. They're scared. They don't know what is going to happen after the birth of the child, and so on and so forth. And another type is a postnatal depression. And that is when a woman has just given birth, after the birth of a child, and the woman is worried about, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do with this living thing that just came into my life. Maybe because of lack of sleep, lack of eating well, and all that stuff. All those things can cause depression. So what are the symptoms of depression? The symptoms are, one is low mood, feeling sad, irritable, and angry. You get irritated easily, and any little thing gets you angry. Another one is having less energy to do anything. That happened to me loads of times. I just feel weak. I felt like, waking up in the morning, I just could not get off my bed. And I was not sick, but I was so depressed. I was weak, emotionally, psychologically, physically, just weak. Another symptom is losing an interest in something that you used to enjoy doing. Maybe you used to enjoy going to the gym. You just totally lose that interest. You just don't want to do anything like that anymore. Another one is losing concentration. You just realize that you cannot just concentrate. You're just always absent-minded. In a minute, you're just lost. You're just always in a different land. You're not with it. You cannot coordinate. And another symptom is becoming tired more easily. Before you do something, you're just tired. You just feel tired. You just can't do it anymore. You're not enjoying it again. And another one is a disturbed sleep. I had that lots of times, whereby I just could not sleep. I would lay down in bed and I was just going to just lay there all night. I would cry sometimes for hours, and I just could not help it. Tears was just rolling down my face, and my pillow would be soaked with tears. Lots of times. That is a sign of depression. Another symptom is feeling less good about yourself. Loss of self-confidence. Something that you were able to do before, you just don't feel confident in doing it. You just feel, I can't do it. I cannot deal with it. Simple task. You see yourself running away from. And also, you can feel worthless. You just don't feel like you're good at anything. You feel, why did I have all these children? I shouldn't have had them. Why? What is all this about? You're just worthless. You're just confused. You're just sad. The last one I have here is feeling guilty. I felt guilty a lot about my daughter. I felt, it was because I allowed her to fall down, or it was because I did not care much about her, or maybe I did not protect her enough, or I even felt it was because I went to Nigeria with her pregnancy. I had a lot of guilt. That is what depression can cause. If you feel any of these symptoms, please don't keep quiet. Don't keep quiet. Don't just think it would go away. You need to speak. Speak up. Say something to someone. You must have someone you can speak to. I know sometimes when you are in such situation, you don't want to talk about it. But there must be someone you can speak to. Talk to your husband. Tell him how you're feeling. If you're a man, talk to your wife. Tell her how you're feeling. When you start talking to your wife, she might start to share her own experience or her own feelings with you. When you talk to your husband, he might start to tell you how he's feeling. And if you're both feeling depressed, you need to seek help. Please don't just remain there thinking it will go away. It will not go away. So please speak to somebody. Coping method. How do you think you can cope when you are feeling this low? Like I said, you need to speak to somebody. And then 2, you need to try and eat well. Eat well. Don't skip your meal. I skipped a lot of meals. I lost my appetite. But you must push yourself to eat. Try and eat regular meal and good healthy healthy balance, healthy food. Also, sleep well. I know I can sit here today and say, oh, you need to sleep well, as if I did it when I was going through that. But you need to try and speak to someone. When you speak to someone, you will get help. Go and speak to your doctor. When you start to feel low, loss of confidence, energy, feeling worthless, when you start to feel like things that you feel strange, speak to somebody. Go and see your doctor. And I will not tell you that the only way you can go about is going to your doctor. I'm not sure I went to my doctor at that point in time. But you need to go to your doctor. Please, don't keep it to yourself. So now let me go into my story. The gist of today. So after having that denial that my daughter has autism, not speaking to my husband, crying alone, going into depression, I now decided to do something. And what did I decide to do? So this morning I was on my way to work, and as usual I was crying. So I started thinking about Gracie, about how everything has been, what has been happening, the rejection that I had, because I can tell you that there was a time one of our family member actually came to my house and told me that they do not have this type of child in their family. So this person was telling me that, I don't know where you got this child from, but we do not have this type of child in our family. So I would suggest you return this child to wherever you got her from. So you can imagine how I felt hearing that. I felt rejected. So I was thinking of the rejection. I was thinking of how worthless I am. I was thinking, how could I have had this type of child? And I was thinking there's no way I can continue to cope. So I decided that the only way out was for me to get rid of my life. I decided to commit suicide. Yes, I decided to commit suicide. And I made that decision and I thought, yes, this is what I will do. So, but how do I go about committing this suicide? How would I take my life? And then I was started to have different plans. So this day, and then one thing that came to me was, what would happen to Gracie if I decided, if I decide to take my life? And I started to think, oh my days, how is Gracie going to cope? I only had 2 children then, my eldest daughter and her. So I was thinking, yes, my eldest daughter would be able to cope because she's okay. But then how will my daughter, how will Gracie, how will she cope after I'd gone? And I started to get worried and I started to cry. So one day I was going to work. I was at the station, my local station, going to work in the morning. And that thought came to my mind. And as I was thinking, the train was pulling over to the platform. And that gave me that, I'm not going to say inspiration. It just gave me that thought that, oh, okay, I could take Gracie with me and come to this station, and then we can both jump in front of the train. So I started to think, oh yeah, and I bought that idea and I said yes. So what I'm going to do maybe one day is I will take Gracie with me. We will go to the station, and as soon as the train starts to pull over, I will jump in front of the train with Gracie. And as soon as I thought of it, and I had decided in my head that I was going to do that, I heard a voice, and that voice was clear. And that voice said to me, if you do that, you will go straight to hellfire. And I was like, no, I just woke. I said, what? And then I heard the voice, if you do that, you will go to hellfire. And then I answered, I said, but I don't want to go to hellfire. And that voice said to me, that is where you will go if you commit suicide. And I started to cry. But I really don't want to go to hellfire. But I can't cope anymore. How? What do I do? How will I go about this? I cannot deal with this. I started to cry. And I went to work that day and came back home, and I decided my only hope now is to just turn to God. All this time, my husband was still at home with me. And I never at any point discussed with him my thoughts and my plans, because I felt he didn't care. I didn't think he wanted to know the story anyway. And I don't think he would have taken me seriously if I told him that this is what I am thinking. I didn't think he would have taken me seriously. So I didn't share that with him. But then I started to move closer to God. I am so grateful that I have God. Honestly, if not for God, and if not for that voice that spoke into my spirit, I would not have been here today to tell this story. But that voice, which I believe was the voice of God, spoke into my spirit and warned me, if you do this, if you take your life, you will go to hellfire, straight to hellfire. And thank God I ceased from going through with that plan. Are you somebody watching me today and in this situation that I have come out of? I've come out from this sort of situation, and I am telling you there is hope for you. Look at me now. Do I look like somebody that has been through depression and even thinking of committing suicide? This is what God can do. I am so grateful that I have God. I have my faith in me. If not, I would not have been here. So please, 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 if you are going through depression, you might not even know it's called depression. If you're going through all the symptoms that I have mentioned, speak to someone. If you have faith, cling on to God. Cling on to that faith. You need God. If you're a Muslim, you need God. It's God that you pray to. Whatever religion that you are doing, turn to God. Just speak and just speak to him. Just tell him, this is how I'm feeling, God. If you're really, really up there, I need you to help me. And he will help you. Don't die a slow death. Don't allow depression to cast you down. Don't allow depression to overcome you. You can overcome depression. You can. So please, find somewhere in your heart and speak to God and ask him for strength. You can do it. It's hard. I know. Having a special need child. Come on. And being a single mom and working full time. It's not easy. It's challenging. Sometimes, even right now, I feel the weight. And I'm like, God, I'm dying. You know, when I've been up and down, running up and down, doing this for this child, for that child, for this home, paying the bills and doing things, I feel the weight. And you know what I do now? My coping mechanism now? I just whisper prayers. God, help me. Please don't let me die under this weight. Just help me. I do that every time. While I'm driving and I'm feeling that weight, when I'm on the train going to work or coming back, when I'm doing anything, one thing or the other. Even sometimes I'm confused. I don't know what decision to make on Gracie. Maybe the social services have come to me and listed few things. Maybe the school has come to me and said, these are the things we want to do. What do you think? And I feel, and I don't know what to do. And I don't know who to speak to. I have nobody. But I turn to God. I turn to God. And that's what I want you to do. My coping mechanism is God. I just speak to him. And also, I have some really beautiful people in my life. I have some beautiful people in my life. Have somebody you can speak to. Somebody you can talk to. Yes. And they would help you. I have 2 lovely sisters in my church that even without me knowing, they can see. They will just see that, maybe my dressing has changed. Maybe my face has changed. Maybe something. I don't know how they know. But I know that they always come to me and say, are you okay? And I will say, yes, I'm fine. They said, no, you're not. And I wonder, how do they know? Because they can see. They can see. Maybe they see the way I look. Maybe they just see there was a time that I didn't even realize it. That I was going to church every Sunday and I was wearing black. Black every Sunday. And I will wear a beret. I had a beret that I was wearing. For about a year or over, I would wear my beret. And any outfit I would wear was black. I didn't plan it. It's just that I opened my wardrobe and what appealed to me is black. And that was a sign. I wasn't aware, but these ladies just knew. And they would just call me. One of them happens to be one of my choir leaders. She was my choir leader and she would tell me, hey, there's something going on. She would tap me. She would always prompt me. And I'm just grateful for these people. So if you have someone in your life, at least that would have an interest in you. They can see when something is not right. And when they prompt you, please take it. So that is my story. And what depression led me to. Suicidal. I was suicidal. It's not a good feeling. Please, if you're suffering from depression, don't suffer alone. Speak to your doctor, seek help, and speak to someone. In my next video, I will continue my story and my journey as a mother with an autistic daughter. Please share this video with anyone that you think will benefit from my video. Share this video with them and give it a thumb up. If you think that you really enjoyed it, let me know. And please make a comment. If you have been through depression, if you have felt suicidal, you don't have to go into into detail, but please share your experience with me. How did you feel when your daughter or your child or your cousin or your grandchild or whoever has autism that you know? How did you feel when you were told? Share with us, please. Share your story. Let us hear from you. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you for tuning in and see you again next time. God bless. Bye-bye.